What up, though, world? It's your boy Moe Ager. Y'all know what it is, man. Hey, we tapped all the way in, man. I'm over here with my guy, Scoop B Radio, Day One, A1, man. Let's get it. Stay tapped in.
Everywhere you want to be. I am your host, Brandon Scoop B Robinson, Scoop B Radio. We are in there like swimwear. Subscribe to Scoop B Radio on all streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. ScoopBRadio.net is where you can find our digital library. Anyone from Siri, the voice of Siri, that is, Mark Cuban, DJ Khaled. And we're joined today by a guy who has been around the NBA for a little bit, Moe Ager, former New Jersey Net, Maverick, former Michigan State Spartan. Brother, what's going on?
Oh, man, life was beautiful, bro. Out here living life, doing my thing, bro, and just staying active, staying creative, bro.
Yeah, man. I've been just scrolling through Instagram and me and you texting and laughing. You've just been feeling a whim to just tell stories.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, bro. At this point in time, bro, I just feel like it's the perfect time, bro. I mean, in the end, when you look back and just evaluate everything and be like, oh, shit. I've been telling these stories for people in living rooms and kitchens for years. They got to a point in time where it's like, oh, let me start telling the world this, because people want to hear the backstories. People want to hear some of the behind the scenes stuff like that. So obviously I ain't hooping no more. So let me see how I can still leverage the game that I love and still be creative with it right now. And you know what I mean? Just pretty much tell my story, bro. And, you know, really for me, bro, I just wanted to be able to express a different side of myself where people hadn't necessarily seen. So it's good to be able to exercise a gift that I never showed the people I had as far as storytelling, bro. This is always something I always had in me. And I'm having a good time doing it, brother. The story must be told, fam.
Are you getting phone calls for telling these stories?
Nah. Well, I'll give you an example of Coach Izzo and the staff. They reached out to me for sure, which is cool. And, you know, it was kind of like I'll tell the truth, bro. Like, you know, with the Michigan State story, it got to a point in time where it's like, it wasn't even fun telling them no more. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I really would have to go into like darker times. So it's like, it got to a point where I'm just like, you know what? I'm done. I told my piece, you know what I'm saying? But I was able to, you know, get out what I wanted to get out about my experience with Coach Izzo post Michigan State and stuff like that. So, but it reached out and it was all love. It was peace, man. I never meant for it to be anything other than just being authentic, real, and being able to give people, you know, another side of the story, B. So it's like, no, people hit me up all the time, though. People hit me up all the time, and people definitely validate the stories. I mean, I understand that a lot of guys don't want to just come online and be like, oh, yeah. Behind the closed doors, though, they all like, thank you.
Is it true that you, during your time at Michigan State, you got head coach Tom Izzo to not or to change the practice schedule so that you could go to church on Sunday?
This is facts. Yeah, these are 100% facts, brother. Yeah.
How did he receive that at first?
I'm obviously, I think it kind of threw him off guard a little bit. I mean, I know that he understood at that time that my faith was, and still is, my faith was very important. But when I looked in his face, he didn't seem very pleased about it. He's like, okay. And yeah, and he agreed with it eventually, you know what I'm saying? But I just think it was a big culture shock for him as well, because that was something that they, you know, he's at Michigan State for maybe 30 plus years at that point. And they always had 10 o'clock practices on Sunday. So for me to come in and shift that around, you know, that may have, you know, threw things off a bit. You know, it is what it is. It worked out.
You, my point of entry in paying attention to you was when you were part of the Jason Kidd, Devin Harris trade. You, of course, coming from Dallas to New Jersey with Devin Harris. Jason Kidd in his second stint with the Mavs was shipped from New Jersey at that point. And as I always tell you, I remember you playing in New Jersey, pulling up threes while Ron Brow's Pop Champagne was playing, the instrumental, the DJ was playing it. What were your New Jersey Nets days like for you?
For me, bro, it's funny you just said that, because it just feels super nostalgic now, bro. It feels super Ron Brow's Pop Champagne. That was around the time. Ain't nobody here that got swagger like us. So that was definitely a very unique time, and in hip hop and basketball and everything like that. You know, so it was my time in New Jersey, bro. It was up and down, bro. But the basketball side of things were, you know, I feel like I had my shining moments, you know, at times. But ultimately, bro, it was just kind of like I really enjoyed more so just being in New York. You feel me? Being able to experience that, living right across the street, pretty much from Manhattan, taking the ferry boat from Edgewater, or swooping around, taking the Lincoln Tunnel all the way over there, man, in New York, and going over there and just rubbing shoulders with some people that, you know what I mean, to this day, I'm 100% cool with. But, man, what I will say, bro, and I told a story about this, bro. One person that I really cherished during that period of time was Rod Thorne. He was a good dude, man. You know, even though Lawrence Frank wasn't playing me much, Rod Thorne would always pull for me. And he always loved the fact that I was pretty real and authentic. You know what I mean? One time, he was like, man, I sat down with him and Lawrence Frank before we actually, when the trade went through. He was like, so, you know, we hear you like to party. I'm just like, yeah, hell yeah. He's like, well, you're in New York now. He's like, you plan on partying here? To be honest with you, yeah, I am. He just breaks out laughing. Like, Rod Thorne just breaks out. He's like, I love it. He's like, you're so honest. You're so real. Lawrence Frank, his face turning red. He mad. So Lawrence Frank, he always, me and him, we got along as people, but as player and coach, nah, he wasn't rocking with me at all, man. So it's like, but Rod Thorne was my guy. And playing on Vince, bro, was amazing. That was my name.
So were you on that 12-70 team that was horrible that year?
Nah, hell no. You talking about the one Jay-Z rapped about?
Yeah, that was when you got. Yes.
I was out of there. Nah, I was gone, bro. I actually went to Spain for like half a season after that.
That 08-09 team that you were on was interesting because it was definitely the post J Kidd era. What was the feedback that you were getting from the fan base? Do you feel like there was a resistance in the transition from J Kidd to Devin Harris? What did you gauge?
Man, you know what? That's kind of hard for me to gauge that, only because I just wasn't in that. I don't remember that culture when Jason Kidd was there. And in terms of as a player, you know, I would go there, we'd play him and stuff like that, and it was always a vibe because J Kidd was who he was. But I would say that it was pretty dry, but I think they did it. They eventually accepted Devin Harris. They accepted Devin Harris. But I'll be honest with you, man. New Jersey fans wasn't happy about that at all, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, at all. So.
No, I remember that game that you guys played against the Sixers where I think Iguodala and Devin Harris were exchanging jump shots, and I think Devin hit that half-court shot to win the game.
Yeah. Dang. I remember that. That was wild.
But I also remember Devin as well as Vince Carter and Richard Jefferson and you all being teammates in New Jersey. And it seemed like it was just a young squad. When you look at today's NBA and you look at Devin Harris, is there anybody in today's NBA that he reminds you of?
That's a good question. You know what? I can't think of a player in particular, but I believe Devin Harris would thrive in this because he was always kind of like a tweener, combo point. You know what I'm saying? Even in college, man, he was kind of more sort of. He brought the ball up, but he was just the shooting guard for them. So I believe Devin Harris would really thrive. And the prime Devin Harris in this time, he would do really well, man. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the way he played and how he was able to, you know, use his quickness, but at the same time, he developed a jump shot over time. So I think Devin Harris would have been really good during this period, bro.
What was Vince Carter like in the locker room during that time?
Vince was just absolute. That's my bro. That's my brother. Like Vince was an absolute comedian, bro. Stories for days. You know what I'm saying? He was 100%. I would say the coolest superstar teammate that I had. Like just one guy who was always looking out for me. We hung out a lot. You know what I'm saying? Me and my guy. And to this day, bro, he's very supportive, bro. Vince Carter's just an all-around solid dude, man. Just solid. I only thing I would say about Vince, man, is he I don't got nothing negative to say about Vince, bro. You know what I'm saying? I do remember him busting his ass in practice every day. I know that much. And VC remember that too. I used to get that boy the business.
Really?
And VC ain't want no parts. That's why I used to be like upset. I'm like, damn, Frank, I'm frying Vince. Like, I can't get no burn. What's good, bro? But at that point, you already know how the politics go. You know what I'm saying? You know, Frank already made his mind up to certain things. But yeah, bro, VC, my dog. But I used to give you that work, my boy. Practice. It was always fun.
Was it more off the dribble? Was it more jump shots? How were you taking the Vince Carter on the court in practice?
J balls, middies, rack work, transition work. Um, yeah, all of them. You know what I'm saying? And man, Vince Carter's still a superstar, so I'm sure he ain't want to go 100% hard in practice. But it got to a point in time where our teammates was kind of roasting him, like, "Yo, you already know Mo about to give you that work today." You know what I'm saying? So that was like an ongoing joke. You know what I'm saying? So,
are you surprised to see both he and Richard Jefferson doing TV at this point?
Oh no, I'm not surprised.
And Devin.
I didn't know Devin Harris was doing TV.
Doing stuff over with Valley, with the Mavs, and he's done some in-studio work with Yes as well.
I didn't know that. See, Dev was kind of quiet, so that would surprise me more than Vince Carter and Rich. Richard Jefferson, jokester, always open, really great personality. Always had that personality, and Vince Carter, I didn't know he was going to go into TV, but you know, it's good to see him on there. I feel like he fit. He's a great basketball mind. He's a Hall of Famer, bro. So it's good to see both of these guys doing their thing and thriving. But Devin Harris, I would have never thought about that one. Like he's always been kind of like to himself, not really an outspoken person like that.
Sure. Scoopy Radio joined by Moe Ager, talking all things basketball and more. Before we start talking about the Dallas Mavericks, because I've seen you on Instagram telling stories and more, tell me a little bit about your clothing line and what you're doing in the digital space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, so I created the Moe Ager Show maybe 4 years ago. It just pretty much started off with me just blogging my life. You know what I'm saying? Being a brother out here in Asia, being the only NBA player out here and pretty much in any country I lived in, from Vietnam to Malaysia to, you know, different places. So I just started off as a blog. And then eventually I started mixing in the music. I started mixing in, you know, different cartoons and other digital things I was doing, because I started doing NFTs for a while. So that really put me in the digital space. But once COVID hit, bro, I really took my business and was like, you know what? I got to figure out a way to digitize this and put it all into the on net, bro, because that's where it's at. You know what I'm saying? So during that period of time was when I really locked in and started writing books. I started designing clothes. I started, creating skateboards, shoe clothing lines. And what happened was I discovered I was pretty good at creating brands from scratch. And I've had brand specialists tell me, like, yo, bro, you actually, it takes us 2 or 3 months to sit around the table to come up with some of the concepts and the taglines and the slogans and the quotes that you come up with. That's a gift. So that gave me more confidence to start creating more brands. So at this point in time, you know, I have maybe 15 plus brands I've created. Swagger Nice, Tampon Dog, which is our very new brand that's pretty much brought to you by Swagger Nice. We have school shoes. We have baby fat water. Fuego Eddie, you know, Moe Ager Hoop Schools, shirts and jerseys. So for me, bro, I just recognize the days and times, man. It's a lot of money to be made online, and I have a really good opportunity to not only spread my story, but do it with something that can be a wearable. You feel me? Something that I know you got your jacket, right?
I never got it, bro.
Oh, okay. We go get on that. We go make sure that works. But yeah. So the Moe Ager Show, bro, it's just basically allowing me to show my creative side in this days and times, though, and really just embark on something new, bro, and really continue to discover new things about myself as I, you know, keep creating. This is the time to create, baby, and you know, I'm having a good time creating.
I like it. You played on the Dallas Mavericks with Dirk Nowitzki. I believe you were coached by Avery Johnson around that time, correct?
Yeah. Avery Johnson.
What was that like?
Avery Johnson was tough, bro. He was really tough, bro. He was one of those guys. I appreciate him now. Like, you know, you have one of those old guys who tell you certain things 20 years when you're younger, and you grow up to appreciate it. You know, he showed a lot of tough love. I would say this. He had a lot of pressure on him, me coming in as a rookie. They just went to the finals the year before that. We were the favorites to go the year after that. Dirk wins a MVP that year. So for me coming in as a young player, it was pretty much, I didn't have much wiggle room because we already had vets. We had Stackhouse, Josh Howard, Jason Terry, Devin Harris, Greg Buckner, Devin Jordan. I mean, so it's like we had so many veterans to where it's like, um, he didn't have much patience for me when I was a rookie. He's just like, all right, look, whatever. Not that he didn't care, but you could tell that he had that pressure on him to get back. So I went to a situation where I don't feel like he felt that it was necessary to mold me. You feel me? And of course, I take full responsibility for the things I could have done better, of course. But Avery Johnson at the time, I wasn't really a big fan of his. But over these years, I've grown to respect what he was telling me as a youngster. Not only for the basketball stuff, but the things he told me about things in terms of life. So, yeah, but Avery, man, shout out to Avery Johnson, man. And the whole Dallas Mavericks organization, man. Mark Cuban's still a good friend to this day, man. He's supported me throughout my journey. Donnie Nelson, those guys were amazing. Dale Harris was amazing. So, it was great, man. It was a well-run organization, and to this day, I'm still happy I was able to be a part of them winning the championship indirectly.
What's Dirk Nowitzki like?
Dirk is a jokester, crack jokes all the time. Roast. Dirk, he's a roaster. On the plane, cracking jokes the whole time. You know what I'm saying? He will roast me sometimes too. You know what I'm saying? Like, but other than that, man, Dirk was by far the hardest working superstar I've been around, man. He's one of those dudes where we could play the Spurs on TNT. Right after the game, he downstairs getting shots up with his coach from Germany, just getting shots up, keeping his form crispy and everything. So it's like being around him was dope to see. And, yeah. I'm happy with him in particularly because of how much time and energy and loyalty that he gave to the game and to that team. So to see him, win a championship over these years, man, I was 100% happy for him, bro.
Dirk is quiet, at least, or mild-mannered, at least for the cameras. Nice guy. But when I hear people talk about folks who are competitive, you think of the Kobes, you think of the Michaels, you think of the LeBrons, you think of the Ray Allens. Where do you put Dirk's competitive nature as a teammate? Because he just channels it a lot differently. Like, how competitive was Dirk?
Dirk was competitive, bro. He practiced hard every day. I used to get him work too. Yeah, Dirk was. I was like, yeah, let's go. Could wait to get Dirk on me, but nah. Dirk was a competitor, bro. I mean, just think about it. What's the year that we won the championship? He beat Kobe, KD, Brian, Wade. And I know I'm missing somebody. He ran through all of our greats in 1 year. So his competitive nature is obvious. He's a lot tougher than people think. Obviously, he wasn't the greatest defender because he had, slow feet. But when it's all said and done, Dirk played hard, bro. He played really hard. And you know what happened? He got tougher after that series we lost against the Golden State Warriors. When Steven Jackson and all those boys, I would go as far as to say that they roughhoused him. You know what I'm saying? And that was their plan and their goal. But after that series, he became it brought a little bit more toughness out of him. And I'm sure playing around Jason Kidd and those guys brought more to him as well.
Oh, is it true that Dirk Nowitzki tore up that locker room at Oracle Arena when the Mavs were playing against the Warriors in that We Believe season?
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. No, I don't remember that. I mean, if he did, I would have told a story about that. I don't remember that shit. Yeah, I don't remember. He was mad though. I mean, I outscored him that game. I had 10 points. Dirk had like 7. So it was kind of like he struggled. He was more mad at himself than anything for sure. But yeah, I will say he was upset because he don't feel like we made adjustments throughout the series. You know what I'm saying? I would go on ahead. I would really 100% tell you that Dirk was like, damn, I wish Avery would have played you early in the series because I was a perfect matchup for those guys. I was obviously I was a goon. It is what it is. I was more one of those guys who was like, hey, I ain't about to. Stack and them knew what time it was. Stack loved me because I was fearless. And that's one thing Stack will always say, like, man, I ain't scared of nothing. So that would have been a perfect series for me. Although I had 2 pretty good solid games, but if they had made that adjustment earlier, I feel like the series could have won a different way because we needed more dogs out there. You feel me? And at that time, bro, they just thugged us out, bro. Oh.
The Mavs had the MVP in Dirk Nowitzki in that series. and we're going against a Warriors team that was just rugged, whether that was Baron Davis, Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, and more. As a member of the Mavs, but objectively speaking, what do you think that the Warriors saw in you guys that they knew that they could take advantage of the matchup against you guys?
They just felt like they can punk Dirk. That's pretty much what it boils down. Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, Baron Davis, Jason Richardson. Those guys in their mind, it was like, yo, we just go punk Dirk. That was it. And I feel like they knew that they had it. It was a matchup. What you might call they were a matchup problem for it. This is around the time where, where the 4-man was starting to become more like the swing man. And that was around that time when it started to become a thing where Steven Jackson can play the 4. Not as normal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they pretty much I would say that they jump started that whole small ball, bro. They don't get a lot of credit for it, but they did. So they knew that playing smaller ball against us would be a disadvantage of us for us. And it worked. At that time, we was playing the center. We was playing like Eric Dampier, and he wasn't getting up and down the court like that. So it's like they was like, oh, no, we about to run these boys. Shit, Monte Ellis, like, come on, man, like.
Yeah. Tim Duncan and Dirk Nowitzki were definitely competitors in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Dirk's teammate. Did you ever sit and just watch their matchups and just take a minute to just enjoy the moment? Because those are two of the greatest 4s to play in the league.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I was so in it, bro. I don't really know if I was looking at it like that. I mean, I would now, but I remember that was my first NBA start on TNT against the Spurs. And I think I had maybe 11, 12 points, somewhere around there. And, we won. And that was one of my highlight moments with the Dallas Mavericks, bro, because I always grew up watching TNT, NBA on TNT. So when I had that first NBA start, man, it was amazing. And I just remember Tim Duncan just was like, hey. Tim Duncan was like, hey, what college did you go to? I was like, Michigan State. Like, but it was just funny that he was so inquisitive about it. Like, but in my mind, I'm like, how you know that? But it's like, Tim Duncan was low key, very sarcastic shit talker. You feel me? He was more so like, oh, bank. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like, man, yeah, he was like torturing Dirk with like really nice words. I was like, I ain't never heard nobody talk shit that easy. You know what I'm saying? But Dirk definitely had his nights against Tim Duncan, for sure. Tim Duncan couldn't do nothing with Dirk. Dirk couldn't do nothing with Tim. So it was definitely dope to witness those games, especially when we played in San Antonio. She was wild.
I'm more curious about the sarcastic jokester and Tim Duncan, because I feel like he's quiet, or at least perceived to be quiet, the quiet, nice guy. What were some of the other interactions with Duncan that you overheard?
He would say something like along the lines of, like, say if I'm, not really lost, but I remember one time he was like, our team was already huddling up. He was like, hey, you might want to go with your team in the huddle. I was like, I know, man. I'm going, bro. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? So that was one thing that I do remember. I remember vividly. Yeah. He's like, hey, your team's over there. You might want to go with your team in the huddle. I was like, hey, thanks, Tim. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tim is an interesting character. Did you? Because George Karl recently caught up with me and basically was discussing Nikola Jokic and was discussing how that he sees comparisons between those two, and I think Jokic is a mix of different people, but he basically said that he feels like in some ways Jokic surpassed Tim Duncan. I didn't agree, but I respected his point of view. My question to you is, do you see anybody in today's game that reminds you of Tim Duncan?
We ain't had another Tim Duncan, bro. Not that I can think of, like right off top, I can't think of nobody who's been able to like yo, he reminds me of Tim Duncan. Nah. Nobody I can think of. But to pink off your point though, Jokic is 100% his own entity, bro. So I wouldn't even compare him to nobody else at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? He has many tools. I mean, you had guys like, what's my man's name? Sabonis. You know what I'm saying? One of those bigger guys who was able to make plays and stuff like that. And then he still got the high arcing jump shot like a Dirk. So he's like you said, he's a Voltron, bro.
Why do you think that it was so difficult for guys like Andre Kirilenko and Dirk Nowitzki to adapt to the NBA game back then? And it's a lot easier now for the Giannis's, the Jokic's, the Embiid's, and others to seamlessly make that transition now.
Good question, bro. I just think that, even if we just talking about skill work, right? When you take, these guys are doing guard work now. You know what I'm saying? So you get Joe, and like he started with, Kansas. So it's like these guys were always tapped in on more so they down there with the guards. So it was almost kind of like inevitable at one point in time where when the game was shifting to where the bigs were like, yo, if you're big, you got to be damn near a point guard too, to a certain degree, and being able to extend the defense. But guys like Dirk, they set the standard for that. You know what I'm saying? Even like who else? I mean, look at Rasheed Wallace. Guys like Rasheed Wallace, who was one of those ones who kind of was a guy who could play in his era. You feel me? So we had rare breeds at that time to where it's like, and then you get guys like Kevin Durant coming in the league, right? Where it's like, all right, hey, he's 6'11", 7 foot. Let him call it. He's 6'11", but he still began to really, I would say, usher in the idea of being super tall and playing all positions. Shout out to my guy Rashad Phillips, man. He talks about it all the time, man. The positionless matrix. So yeah, he was on top of that.
Yeah, because you brought up the Rasheed Wallace portion of it. To me, he was face up, back down, and could intimidate a myriad of different people, even throwing a towel at Arvydas Sabonis, his teammate. But when I look at today's NBA, the closest comparison to Rasheed today is, to me, somewhat is Anthony Davis, and I still don't think that's a clear translation, right? But then when you look at when you talk about Kevin Durant, I feel like you got to go back to George Gervin and then look at Tracy McGrady and then look at Kevin Durant and then look at Giannis and then look at what Wemby is. That's like the prehistoric chart in science class.
That is the evolution of the positionalist. You know what I'm saying? 4 or 5 man. That's absolutely correct.
4 and 5.
Yeah. I mean, Manute Bol used to step out there, you know what I mean, and knock down two sometimes.
Yeah, and it was frowned upon because in some people's minds he was a center that could shoot threes, but he moved a little bit slower in comparison to like his son now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so everything it's much more open now, man. So it's actually dope to see,
Yeah. I think your perspective on basketball is unique because you played against the Kobe's, you were at Michigan State, you played against LeBron, you played against a lot of people. Do you think that the way that LeBron James has played basketball when he came into the league into now is becoming outdated, and the way that the Wemby and the KDs are playing is going to be the new standard in the next 5 years?
I believe so. Every day we looking on YouTube, we seeing some 12, 13-year-old that's 6'8", 6'9", handling the rock, pulling up, you know what I'm saying, doing pretty much everything that we love about KD and these guys. So I believe that the game is going to continue to go that way at this present time. The big power guards and stuff like that. I feel like it's had its run, but I definitely feel like it's starting to fade out a bit. You know what I mean? Not to say these guys are not explosive, but it's becoming more of a skill game, I would say. Versus like Brian. I'm not gonna sit here and act like LeBron's not skilled or talented, gifted, but he used a lot of brute force to get whatever he needed in the game. But no, nah, man, you got guys like Jalen Green and And Jason Tatum, these guys are limber, and it's gonna become more and more just flashy, brother.
Yeah, basketball is soccer now.
Yeah, it's the number 2 sport in the world now, so it's like it's definitely climbing up because of those elements, because of the entertainment factor. Because these players now they have their own brands now, they got their own swag, they got their own podcast, they're able to speak more, they understand branding. So the whole idea of the game, the way it was, that's gone. So these players can literally create whatever they need right now by playing ball and still doing something on the side that makes them even more relevant. So I just feel like the whole overall package of a basketball player right now is at its all-time high for sure. Being able to market yourself.
NBA is the new WWE, as I like to say on Twitter.
Yeah. We already know what it is.
Yes. You pretty much answered all the questions that I had. Is there anything that I didn't ask that you want to know?
Oh man, you said you wanted a story, right? I'll give you a quick story.
Yes.
All right, cool. One time we was in London, right? We had the European games out there. We was playing Miami Heat, bro. We was in London. Huh?
What team were you on at that point?
This is the Nets.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop a Nets story for you. So it's like, it was a big deal because this was around the time where I think they were still in. I ain't gonna say I know they were still in negotiation with Barclays to be able to boom, make that move, that Brooklyn situation. So we out in London, bro. Jay-Z out there. He out there in practice and stuff like that. So I love making. I make beats and everything, and that's my passion. Jay-Z comes to our practice, right? I remember having a really good practice, bro. Real good practice. This is the start of this was my second season with the Nets. I went over to Jay. I remember him just sitting over there. You know what I mean? Just chilling. He had on all black. The leather coat. You know what I'm saying? The baggy jeans. I used to wear big baggy jeans back then. So I was like, man, how you doing, bro? Introduce myself because I met Jay-Z when I was 14 in Detroit, right? So this was like damn near 10 years later when I ran into him again. I never brought that up, but that's a story for another time. But anyway, I was talking to Jigga. I'm just like, what's up, Jigga? I was like, what's good, man? He was like, man, what's good, bro? I was like, man. I like, yo, I made beats, fam. I like, you know what I'm saying? I would like you to check out my beats. He's like, oh, word. He's like, I need you to cut shit on that court, though. He like, what? I was like, all right. I was like, man, appreciate it, bro. He said nothing else after that. I was like, damn, my nigga, you can't give me more than that. So it's like, I remember going back to my hotel room after that, made like 30 beats.
Really?
Like, man, I'm making beats. Like I did it, you know what I'm saying? So what happened was the very next game, well, that night we went out after practice that night, we ended up going to dinner and everything. I remember sitting at his table, he was just telling us a bunch of stories. All the stories, about, he's made it out the trunk and stuff like that. But Jay was like, yeah, man, I need to concentrate on that court. So the next game, we played the Miami Heat. I'm like, all right, man, Jay-Z, concentrate on the court. Frank put me in the first half. I played the first half, bro. I was 4 for 5. Mm-hmm. J-balls, kush, backdoor dunk outs. You know what I mean? Got to the line. I was like, hell yeah, boy. I just, you know what I'm saying? 9 points first half. Frank ain't played me again in the second half. I'm like literally, Frank ain't put me in that 1 second. I was like, damn, I'm damn near perfect half. And from that point, so I don't remember if we won or lost, but anyway, we played the Miami Heat. So afterward, he had this big party thing in H2, O2 Arena. And I just remember trying to go talk to Jay. He had Foxy Brown with him. I was like, bro, what's good, man? He's like, yeah, I see you did your thing tonight. He's like, no more beats though. Got straight on that court. I was like, he doubled back. So it was like, I was like, all right. In my mind, I was like, more beats. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was my quick little Jigga story, man. But yeah, that's what I got for you today, bro.
That's awesome. You done talked about Jay. You done talked about your time at Michigan State. You talked about Dirk, and you definitely shed light on just your relationship with Coach Izzo and more. And you also clued us in on what you have next. What can we expect before we go from you? When are we going to see some more interviews with some of your peers? Because I think that would definitely seal the deal in your platform and things that you have going on.
Yeah. I'm sure we get around to that at some point. Hopping on live and you know what I mean, just having these conversations. And one thing that's happened for sure. A lot of people have been coming out to me and just like want to share their stories and stuff. So it's like I feel like it's made a positive impact with people in terms of being able to like, I have a story too. So I believe at some point in time I will be having some guys on my live and we just chop it up, bro, and just talk about our experience. Because nothing else, it's still therapeutic to talk about it. You feel me?
Of course, definitely talking your war stories, like
Yeah.
more than anything else, man. I'm glad to see you doing well. Keep growing, keep grinding.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for your support. We go get that jacket out to you, man. We go figure that out, and we gonna be gold.
Yes, sir.
100, bro.